Due to the nature of my job, these days I have access to try out pretty much any smartphone that I can think of, from nothing to OnePlus to Samsung. I have access to foldables and flip-style devices, budget phones, and pretty much everything in between. And let's be perfectly honest here, a lot of these phones are objectively much better than Pixel in specific aspects. OnePlus's price to performance ratio is absolutely insane and is super hard to beat. Samsung devices are feature-packed with more than enough options that I know what to do with, and nothing has a super unique design language and software aesthetic that does stand out from the crowd. And yet, after all the testing and all the devices and all the reviews that I do, I always come right back to Google Pixel devices. I don't know what it is, but there are just some aspects that Google does so well that I just cannot help but appreciate, especially when I'm away from it for so long. So real quick, I wanted to take some time to explain exactly why I keep coming back to Google Pixel devices. And of course, if you enjoy Pixel-focused content, please subscribe to the 9 to 5 Google YouTube channel because we have so much Pixel content in the pipeline. The Pixel 10 is right around the corner, and you bet we will be constantly talking about it. So get comfortable, stick around because we have a lot of Pixel content coming your way. The first item on my list is probably one of the most underrated and underappreciated Pixel features, but it is just so good, I need to give it some attention, and that is how well voice-to-text works on Pixel devices. I can confidently say 100% with no questions asked that voice-to-text works better on Pixel than any other device I have ever used. Whether it's nothing, Samsung, or OnePlus, it absolutely does not matter. I use voice-to-text, I think, relatively more often than the average person, either to respond to a text message, or if I'm entering a relatively lengthy prompt into Gemini, or if I have some quick ideas, I'll use voice to text to get it into a Google Keep Note. And on Pixel, they just get it right 99% of the time, no matter if I have a ton of background noise or if I don't clearly pronounce a word or two. It is just so accurate at making sure that my thoughts are correct the first time. Not to mention, there's really no noticeable lag. The delay from my voice into text input is very short, if at all, and I'm also able to edit super seamlessly, which is another really helpful aspect. In the middle of a sentence, I can stop, correct a word with the keyboard if need be, and then go right back to talking without having to hit the microphone icon again. It is just so easy to work on with Pixel devices to the point where I actually get super frustrated when I switch to another manufacturer. I don't know what the difference is between Pixel and the rest of the Android devices, but with these other manufacturers, I'm always fixing or correcting something, mostly just correcting words that I didn't actually say, but on other devices, I'm correcting it so much in a sentence that I might as well have just typed out my original thoughts in the first place. So if you're not using voice to text on Pixel phones, absolutely try it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Another aspect that keeps drawing me back to Pixel is getting access to the latest versions of Android as quickly as possible. Personally, I consider myself an enthusiast in that regard, and Pixels are pretty much the only brand that is immediate at getting updates on day one as soon as they're publicly released. The reason I love this so much is because it is pretty much that iOS-like formula where everyone gets the latest platform-level features, security enhancements, and core UI changes the moment that they're ready. I don't have to wait for Samsung or OnePlus or whoever, carriers, let's say, to dip their hands into the pot and make their changes, and as an enthusiast, I absolutely love that experience. And I'm also sure many others do as well. The same goes for Pixel feature drops or the QPR updates. It's a practice that is largely unique to Google, where we get new features for Pixels exclusively, but also for the Android operating system in general about once every 3 months. I think it's a great experience because it's fully expected to have your Pixel device get better as the year goes on, and there's always something new or fresh to tinker around or take a look at. And I should also mention, I am someone that does actually like and actually use Gemini every single day. I know that's not the case for everybody here, but using a Pixel does have its perks in that regard, as there are occasions where some Gemini features are Pixel exclusive for a period of time. So if you're into AI, especially Gemini, having a Pixel phone is a really nice advantage. And on top of all of that, Pixel devices also get access to the latest beta versions of Android, which is not only important for my role here at 9 to 5 Google, of course, but again, as an Android enthusiast, being able to check out out pre-release software and be a part of the active development, I think is a huge perk in itself. Next up is what I'd consider pretty obvious selling points if you know anything about Pixel devices, which to me is what I would call Pixel staples. To me, this is a series of features that you most likely can't find anywhere else, or at the very least, you won't be able to find all of these working so well on one singular device. A lot of these you might have heard about before in some instance or another, but features like call screening with contextual replies is super useful, especially during the political season. Now playing to identify songs near me, it just works in the background seamlessly without me having to get involved with it. Call notes is another good one, which can summarize and transcribe my phone calls, and direct my call, which is a good one too, as it automates the phone tree menus, showing you the options so you can simply tap on one as opposed to listening to the phone menus over and over again. Super annoying if you ask me. I also love Pixel Screenshots, which automatically analyzes and organizes the screenshots that I take, plus Reimagine with Magic Editor, Pixel Studio, the first-party Pixel Weather app, the Pixel Thermometer, for better or for worse, I know not everyone uses that, and so much more. Obviously, availability can vary depending on your country or region, which is probably the biggest downside and also the biggest complaint that I would say, but ultimately, if you can have all of these features working, they are the perfect embodiment of Google's vision for Android. And I think that's something that I like the most about Google's vision for Android, let's say. A lot of these features just automatically work in the background, and there's nothing that I really have to do on my end to make sure that these features are working well. So in that regard, I would say Pixel phones genuinely do make my day easier, which is something that I value. Last but not least, the final reason that I keep coming back to Pixel, even after I use all of these different Android devices, is in fact the camera. To be clear, I don't think that Pixel camera is the best in every single category anymore. A lot of their other competitors like Samsung or OnePlus or even Nothing have caught up quite a bit over the years. But the main point about Pixel camera is how it's, to me, the most consistent, reliable, and versatile camera that you can get in the world of Android right now, at least in my opinion. During my time with Pixel devices, I've always gotten good, usable photos in almost any scenario with zero effort. And personally, if I'm taking photos in a scenario that isn't the absolute best, I find myself not worried about the outcome, especially with Pixel. To me, that's because Google's computational photography algorithms are still the best in the business. For most shots, I just find the camera is completely trustworthy. I'm never concerned about subjects being out of focus, slow shutter speeds, causing motion blur, or questionable lighting conditions, especially at night. Everything from lighting to color, sharpness, and dynamic range is processed to create a high quality result that, at the very least, if I want to edit, is a fantastic base to work on. The camera experience is also supported by a ton of camera modes and AI powered tools like Night Sight for taking photos in low light, especially without a flash, Zoom Enhance, which is an AI powered tool that massively improves the quality of zoomed in photos. Video Boost is another one that uses Google AI and cloud processing to enhance video quality and stabilize footage, plus all the other staples like Best Take and Add Me, for example. And finally, the app is dead simple to use. While it might be too simple for some advanced photographers, for the average consumer out there, let's say, and even for me sometimes, it means that you can just point and shoot and trust that you'll get the right shot you're looking for. So there you have it, my friends, the top reasons that I keep coming back to Google Pixel devices, regardless of what Android phones that I have access to at whatever time. Whenever I'm using other devices, I feel like I don't just miss one or two features, but a huge chunk of the experience as a whole. Voice to text, the Android updates, the Pixel staples, the camera features, these are all small but useful things that add up together to make for a unique experience that other Android manufacturers can't super easily replicate. And it shows big time whenever I try another device. Right now, I'm using the Nothing Phone 3, and I would kill to have Pixel's voice to text or call screening. Those two features alone would make this phone so much better to use, and needless to say, when I go back to the Pixel 9 Pro or maybe the Pixel 10 come August, I will be super happy to be using them again. But Those are just my thoughts here, and I would love to hear from you guys. If you're using a Pixel right now, what features do you keep coming back to and why? And if you're not using a Pixel device right now, what do you think looks good that you would eventually like to try out for yourself? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, as I'm always super curious to hear what the Android community is thinking. Until next time, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9to5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.